TikTok star Alice Ardeline is added to the UFC 304 card in Manchester. The social media star will get a shot in the UFC after a fight cancellation left Shauna Bannon without an opponent on July 27th. Alice Ardeline has over 3 million followers on TikTok, 500,000 subscribers on Instagram, and over 100,000 likes on OnlyFans. Those are impressive numbers, I suppose, even if her 9-5 MMA record pales in comparison. But is it impressive enough to land her a spot in the UFC? Cageside Press's Sean Bitter, no pun intended, wrote on X, "The UFC signing Alice Ardeline is a disgrace to the promotion. Probably the worst signing ever, and I'm not joking. Ardeline isn't a fighter, she's a TikTok star." Ardeline has a terrible 9-7 record. She's won her last 5, but against who? Such a shame that the best promotion in the world isn't caring about the best in the world talent. Now, if you want to do a search for Alice Ardeline, I might suggest doing it from incognito mode, because when you do a search, it's more likely to turn up endless videos of the booty queen shaking her rear for the camera than actual fight footage. But what do you guys think about the latest signing? We've seen YouTube stars, we've seen WWE wrestlers, and we've seen Twitter influencers try to step into the cage against fighters, but we've never seen anybody like Alice. Conor McGregor tells Michael Chandler that they have a new fight date in 2024. McGregor and Chandler were set to collide in the main event of UFC 303 in Las Vegas at the end of June. Of course, that didn't happen as McGregor pulled out of the fight due to a toe injury. A light heavyweight championship rematch between Alex Pereira and Yuri Prochazka ended up taking its place. While many have wondered if the fight between McGregor and Chandler will ever happen, the Notorious One has provided an update. McGregor has taken to his X account to claim that a new date to share the octagon with Chandler seems to be locked in. McGregor wrote, "I talked to Dana today about a new date. All looking good, 24 for sure. It's been 3 years since fight fans last saw McGregor compete in the octagon. He suffered a broken tibia and fibula in his 3rd meeting with Dustin Poirier. McGregor's planned return for UFC 303 would have drawn eyeballs to International Fight Week, but the UFC made the most out of a bad situation, also having to deal with last-minute changes to the co-main event. The question now is, will Conor McGregor actually fight in 2024? Chandler has essentially put his career on hold, waiting for Mystic Mac."
People always ask me, Michael, what is your approach on life? And I have one approach on life, the Paloma approach.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the man?
It's clear that Chandler is in a position financially where he can afford to wait for a major payoff. McGregor remains a massive draw, and his next fight in the octagon is expected to be a huge financial success for the UFC if it ever comes to fruition. On the other hand, Daniel Cormier would encourage Dustin Poirier to push Chandler aside and take his place in fighting Conor McGregor if the opportunity were to present itself. Poirier's hopes of becoming an undisputed UFC champion were crushed at the conclusion of UFC 302. Despite providing a worthy challenge for a UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev, the Diamond was ultimately submitted in the 5th round. While Poirier has contemplated retirement, he is leaving the door open for a potential marquee fight that would excite him. Daniel Cormier believes that despite going 2-1 against McGregor, Poirier should strongly consider taking a 4th fight if given the chance.
One person that is having trouble controlling himself is one of my guys. One of my guys that said to us he was about to retire or he was thinking about retiring. And that's Dustin Poirier. But Dustin Poirier, since saying that he was thinking about walking away from the sport, has had a ton to say. And he's got a lot of people in his crossfires or crosshairs. Dustin Poirier fought last month, lost his lightweight championship fight, said, "This might be it for me." I saw him at International Fight Week. I asked him if he was ready to walk away. You could see inside of him that there's a lot there. The fire still burns inside the Diamond. He goes, "I don't know, man." He came on the good guy, bad guy with me in jail. Fans ask questions. They ask him about a fight. He goes, only big things would get him to do it. Well, for a guy that seems to be I might be done with this, he's got a lot to say. This week he fired shots at Michael Chandler. This week he fired shots at Conor McGregor. This week, Dustin Poirier, again, for a guy that says he might be ready to walk away, is chatting. So he told Ariel Helwani this.
Who the is we? You just got here, buddy. You're not one of us. You're not we. I've been here, you know?
Right.
Come on, dude.
That annoyed you?
We are good. Who's we? You know, welcome to the UFC, dude. You got one win in the UFC. He's speaking for the lightweight division?
Right.
Dude, Muscle McMike needs to chill.
You could hear in Dustin Poirier, you could tell that Dustin Poirier takes offense to Michael Chandler almost putting himself on the same level as him and all the guys that have been around the UFC for as long as he has. He doesn't like that. So I can get how he would have frustration for a guy that did it so fast. But at the end of the day, still should be respected. But again, you want to fight him? It seems like it. Thought you said you might be ready to walk away from this thing, DP. It don't sound like you're a guy that wants to walk away from this thing. And honestly, if I was advising you, I would say don't. You've got far too much to give. And the dude's a fighter. Dustin Poirier is a dog. And that's the truth. He's just a dog. He gonna fight anybody. He gonna fight him on the street too. I think if the McGregor opportunity presents itself, that's gotta happen. Because the one thing you don't do to a man is disrespect family. DP felt disrespected in terms of his family when it comes to McGregor. So you're gonna wanna get that one back.
UFC heavyweight champion Jon Jones has been charged with 2 misdemeanors involving a drug testing agent who filed a police report about his alleged behavior after going to Jones's home to collect a sample on March 30th. The entire ordeal surrounds drug testing agents from the UFC's anti-doping partners at Drug Free Sport who were sent to Jones's home to collect a random sample. After arriving, an agent identified as Crystal Martinez claimed that Jones appeared agitated after he was unable to provide a urine sample and he was offered the opportunity for a blood test instead. Martinez claimed that Jones then began asking them questions including if they had money because he was going to sue them. She also claimed that Jones allegedly grabbed her phone and started recording them. Martinez told police that she was terrified with Jones staying less than a foot away from her during the alleged incident and that she was afraid that Jones might hit her after she contemplated terminating the drug test and leaving the property. During Jones' scheduled appearance on July 17th, he'll be informed about the charges against him and asked to enter a plea. The judge will then set conditions of release for the UFC heavyweight while the case is pending. The case will then be sent back to bench trial in 30 to 45 days. Jones is currently in the beginning stages of preparing for his return to action where he is expected to defend his heavyweight title against former champion Stipe Miocic, with the fight currently expected for November at Madison Square Garden in New York. Former UFC heavyweight contender Alistair Overeem believes that Tom Aspinall should be the one getting the title shot when Jon Jones finally returns to competitive action, as a 42-year-old Stipe Miocic hasn't fought since a loss to Francis Ngannou in March of 2021.
Should the intern be fighting Jon Jones or the legend Stipe?
Should.
Yeah?
Yeah. Stipe hasn't fought for many years now.
Yeah, Stipe said he's waiting for Jon.
And yeah, but it was a little bit vague how that went, right? I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Stipe's he lost to Francis, right? His last loss.
Yeah,
and that was like 4 years ago or something.
Yeah.
How you
A
think?
long time ago.
What do you think about Jon and what's his name? Aspinalls.
Who is gonna win?
Yeah.
I think Jon. Yeah, Jon. But Francis and Jon would be very exciting.
Yeah.
I know that there was some.
Yeah, that would have been very exciting.
And they both won it, but then timing, and then now Francis gone. And,
Yeah, that would have been
that
very
was
exciting.
that was the fight to make, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
To see who's real.
That would have been huge.
Let me get some
Still
quick
is.
quick wrap-up opinions on fights. So Stipe versus Jon Jones, who do you think wins that?
That's difficult, but I would go for 55 Jon, 45 Stipe.
Wow, that's almost wow.
Yeah,
Why is that?
maybe I'll just 60-40.
Okay, explain that though. Why?
Stipe's not fought in a long time. What is he doing in the meantime, right? Because when you have a fight, there's a camp, there's development. And when you're not doing that, you're doing other stuff. Okay, maybe he's has a high focus, high dedication, so he's training, but you're not fighting. And Jon is fighting, not that much, but he is fighting. He's a talent.
He's coming off an injury though.
Jon?
Yeah, he had surgery or some shit.
2 surgeries.
What did he have?
First, he had 1 surgery, and then during that surgery, he got another one to fix a problem that he was having.
Shoulder.
Yeah, shoulder, yeah.
But I mean, he's a dude. He's one of the
But
greatest
you know,
to ever do it.
But
We
you know
just
how
talked to
hard
him.
it is to come off of surgery and go right into a fight.
When was surgery?
It's recent.
Yeah, he's been out for about a year, I think.
So that's actually maybe a risk then.
Yeah.
But Stipe also getting older, right? 41 or something? 40?
Hey, pull up the video of Stipe hitting pads. Show awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So you would basically go 60-40 for who though? Jon Jones?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Yeah, just more rhythm and also a little bit more X factor, more surprise.
What about Jon
Stipe is
Jones?
strong base though.
Jon Jones and Francis.
That would have been 50-50.
Straight
Because
even.
one mistake, and then you're gonna have a lot of tricks up your bad, like John has. But one mistake,
Yeah.
and I believe also there was some tension on John's side for that.
Yeah.
Like one mistake and it's over.
With all due respect, I think Francis is a great fighter. I'm a big fan of Francis. He's a great guy, but I think John Jones is too smart to fight Francis at his game. He would try his best to take him down and try to submit him. He wouldn't play that game with Francis.
Really?
Yep.
No way. No way John Jones stands with Francis. So if they fought, no disrespect to Francis, I think John Jones would desperately try to get him to the ground.
Yep, I think so now too, because France is coming off 2 losses, so confidence will be a little bit down. But that was the fight to make, and then it would be maybe 50-50. Because first fight, heavyweight, Francis is strong.
Yeah.
Right? Different kind of power.
You think he's the strongest that John would face?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is he the strongest you ever faced?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've fought all kinds of
Mike Perry doubts Jake Paul ever fights him under bare knuckle rules, saying, "I'm gonna beat him with 10-ounce gloves on."
One thing I want to remind Jake over and over again is that he wouldn't do a bare knuckle fight, whether he says he would or not, especially after this fight in 10-ounce gloves. And, you know, he wants to bring it up like, oh, boxing is this incredible sport and these hooligans are out there doing this bare knuckle stuff and blah, blah, blah. You know, Mike Tyson is an incredible athlete and legend, and I think he still got it. So to me, you know, when I beat up Jake and they offer me the Mike Tyson fight on the Netflix card, it's like, I'm not gonna deny it. And then everybody can talk shit about me, but I'll go in there and I'll have a little spar around with Mike Tyson, and then he'll hit me so damn hard that I gotta fight his ass for real and see, you know, what we're really made of. And, you know, Jake's gonna catch backlash no matter what he does, whether he fought Mike Tyson. He's getting some for fighting me, but a lot of the fans in the community knows that I bring something different to the table, that I have been experienced in this. You know, he wasn't able to finish Nate Diaz in a 10-round boxing match. I know Nate is very durable, and I would have to say that I am just as, if not more durable than a Nate Diaz is. And, you know, Nate's a smart guy. He fought the fight in a slow motion, a slower type of pace. I don't plan on doing that. I plan on bringing the pain to Jake. You know, so usually with me, the fight speaks for itself. If you talk to the real ones, they know the details involved in my career and what it is that I have put into this. All the blood, sweat, and tears that I can have gone into my career in the past. I mean, the past 10 years of being a professional fighter. I've been at this for a long time. Yes, I took a long, hard road. Maybe there were some other ways to go about it. Maybe I could have had more success if I tried to pick my fights better, or if I had a better system, or if I even pulled out a fight. Some guys, they see a defeat might be in their future and they pull out a fight. Their camp, their team, they all come together and they say, you know what, this isn't looking good. This isn't looking good. You have some injuries here. Let's pull you from this fight. I have never done that ever in my career. I have always gotten myself together. You're never going to be 100%. I always get myself as close as I can to 100%. And this is an opportunity for me to show the world what a real fighter is. That's what I said on Helwani. I want to show them a real fight. The crowds that Jake Paul gets, they deserve a fight like Mike Perry brings to the table. I go for broke. I go in there and I put it all on the line, and I don't mind taking a hit to land a better one.
Kamaru Usman is calling for the killer to come out of Leon Edwards at UFC 304, three-time opponent. However, he still wants to see more from Edwards as champion, especially when it comes to showing his killer instinct.
I like Leon Liz. I think it's a good fight. I like the confident wave that Leon is carrying now. You know, I think he understands the responsibility of being a champion, how you kind of have to train, the mentality that you kind of have to have. And he showed that in the fight, but it's just a little thing that I would like to see from him is that killer come out. Because if you know you're the top dog, you know, you got to prove it to each and every contender who wants your spot.
Chael Sonnen has high praise for welterweight champion Leon Edwards, who wants to move up to middleweight and challenge for the belt, but understands that there is a guy named Islam Makhachev who also wants to come up from lightweight and challenge for his belt, and he isn't running from either opportunity.
If you're the top draw and you're making the most money and you've got the very rare clause in a contract known as participation on a pay-per-view, you're getting a piece of a company that you never bought into. I feel it incumbent upon you to understand what it is we're doing here, but I can't pin that on Leon either. I can't pin it on him because in this same paragraph, a different sentence, Leon states that he would take on Islam. If Islam wanted to come up to 170, like, Leon would understand what that's about because he would like to do it. He would understand not cutting the weight. He would understand the opportunity of champ-champ. He would understand the parity and the nuances that come with it. And to demonstrate that he understands it, he's willing to do it for somebody else. Like, there's just nowhere for me to be mad at Leon here. And how did Leon turn out to be such a good guy, by the way? I've been waiting for him to, like, turn out to be a scumbag, and it has just never happened. And then when you find out about Leon's backstory, right? Father dies when he's a kid. He's got a brother, he's got a mom, he comes up from nothing all the way to the world. I mean, when you find out about his backstory, it just lends more times than not to a guy growing up and not being such a wonderful guy. And everything I learn about Leon, this dude's solid. And he's polite. He's really good at what he does, and it turns out he's a competitor. You're not a true competitor if it only goes one way. You're not a true one. And most competitors are. There's very few true competitors. Where it goes both ways is when you want an opportunity to move up, to strengthen your mantle, but you also will extend an opportunity that you have to give. You want somebody else to give you one, but you're willing to give yours. And that's what he's demonstrating by being willing to take on Islam. And I also find it important when Leon is laying his case out to move to middleweight. I find it very important that he address Islam. Because, as I stated, generally when a guy leaves a weight class, there will at least be the perception that it's because he's trying to avoid a certain fight. And in Leon's case, who's gone through the division, no question about it. And you got new and you got these up-and-comers. No question about that either. But if he was to leave and go to middleweight, you're still going to have to talk about, yeah, he's leaving because Islam's coming up. And now you got the perception issue. And I just feel like Leon is covering all of his bases. I am going to fight Law. I want to fight at middleweight, and I'm not going to call a guy out because I don't care about the guy. I want the achievement of the belt. Oh, by the way, I got a belt that somebody else would like to get. His name's Islam, and I'm willing to do that match too. Like, I just feel like Leon covered everything. So if you're a guy like me, if you're sitting over here and you're trying to point out the weaknesses and the flaws within his statement where the cowardice lies, Leon didn't really give me much room.
Did the UFC French-Canadian broadcast just leak 2 title fights for Noche UFC? In between rounds at UFC Denver, UFC broadcast partner UFC TVA Sports casually leaked 2 gigantic title fights for the upcoming UFC 306/Noche UFC fight card that is set to headline the Sphere in Las Vegas this September. Pay close attention to the subtitles, and it looks like they announced Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway and Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili.
Alors, au mois de septembre, ça va être tout un événement, le Noche UFC, le 14 septembre, à l'intérieur de la Sphère, Las Vegas. On a déjà quelques combats qu'on peut vous annoncer. Il y a Topuria contre Max Holloway pour le championnat des poids plumes. Et il y a aussi Sean O'Malley contre Merab Dvalishvili.
Now let's take a look at the top 3 comments left on yesterday's video. This person says, how does he still manage to be so nice to Izzy? It's actually incredible. This person writes, Alex knows he has no chance against Tom. And this person writes, Conor is like that blocked ex-girlfriend that still tries to get in contact with you. If you want your comments highlighted on tomorrow's video, simply comment down below. We'll highlight the top best comments, good, bad, or indifferent, and feature them in tomorrow's video. And that does it for today's video, but make sure you're liking this video, subscribing to this channel, and clicking the bell notification so you can get notified every time we drop a new video. And in case you missed it, check out yesterday's news.